to the Geek Battle Show. Here streaming not only on the Extreme Improv Extremed YouTube channel, but also on the Geek Battle YouTube channel. Head over to www.youtube.com/at Geek Battle, and that would be absolutely spectacular. Now, to celebrate this fact, today is the first time where I am a confirmed geek. I have got the glasses. Nerd! I get to say it now. So it's fine. I have the glasses. So watch out, nerds, because I am now hidden amongst you. But speaking of which, tonight we're going to be discussing all kinds of cool things. We'll be playing some geeky fun games, and of course we'll be reacting to what's going on in the world of cinema, video games, comic books, all that, like the shebang, reacting to the perhaps dismal failure of Ant-Man. I think a few of us have seen it now. We may be able to give some spoilers or not. We've also going to react to, apparently we're going to get some surprises in the Flash movie, which we'll get to soon. But for now, let's meet tonight's players on this show. We'll have some fun. Tim, say hello to the people and give us a random geek fact if you have one.
Hey, welcome from my dad's parking lot in Newton, Mass. I am Tim, and your random geek fact of the week is that if the director for Pitch Black initially was going to be forced to hire Steven Seagal, and he's very thankful that he wasn't, and in the end, even though Vin Diesel did a very poor job reading off of a script, he was still cast as Riddick, and he ended up doing a bang-up job because they obviously did two other movies with him as headlining as that character.
Wow, that is ridiculous. No, that's an awesome fact. Haha. We've got some great puns coming up for you tonight, audience. So
I know.
Do watch out for them. Now, on that note, we're going to come over to the resident genius, as it were, because as I said before the show, you can't spell Smarty without Marty. Say hello to the people.
Hey everybody, Marty here in Atlanta, Georgia, and my geek fact for today is apparently, I'll have to track this down and look at it because it sounds intriguing, but in one of the Star Wars comics, Han Solo and Chewbacca fly the Millennium Falcon to Earth, and they crash on Earth, and they never leave. They both die there. Chewbacca is mistaken for Sasquatch, and then centuries later, Indiana Jones finds the wreckage of the Millennium Falcon and the bones of Han Solo.
Wait, what is this in?
It's in a comic book called Star Wars Tales number 19.
Okay, when did it come out? Because is it part of the Legends, as we were speaking about a couple of weeks ago?
It came out in 2004.
Oh, so that would now no longer count. But that is awesome that exists.
Yeah, I'm really interested in seeing that now, because I did not know that they had crossed, those two characters had crossed over before. I mean, sort of crossed over.
Yeah, no. Okay, speaking of crossing over, Capelthave, you have crossed over onto the dark side once again of StreamYard.
Oh yes, and it's been paying me by screwing with my green screen. But still, from the land of leopards, elephants, and crocodiles, it's me, Capital Dave. My geek fact for today is kind of a weird thing. It's not actually technically a fact. So in the 90s, Disney made a show called The Gargoyles, and they had a bad guy named David Xanatos. But the thing is that when the Iron Man movie came out, I thought it was the cartoon character made into a different superhero because he looks very similar to Iron Man when you think about it. So, wait, background, come on. One moment. There it is. So he has a goatee and everything, and he's also a millionaire, playboy kind of thing. The one exception is that he's a bad guy and he has a ponytail, but basically it's Tony Stark. And he has a mech suit as well, which kind of red and gray. It's shaped like a gargoyle, but it's basically Iron Man. And I feel like the movie kind of stole a lot of his character into Tony Stark.
Ah, that is interesting. Definitely worth another Bonus point there, Cap. Thank you for that. I kind of remember gargoyles. I can't quite remember. They were like the stone gargoyles that were like come to life. Ah, okay, yeah. That's a good show.
Isn't that the character that Jonathan Frakes did the voice for?
Could be. I don't know the voice actors, but could be.
Well, Jonathan Frakes is Riker from Star Trek. So.
Yeah.
The plot thickens.
It does. Now, speaking of thick, sorry. Right. No, I'm going to steal Marty's intro for you. So earlier you were like busting some rhymes or something. So we instead of Dave MC, we have MC Dave. Say hello to the people.
I'll put on my yo, Dave MC Dave in the house. What the haps, my homie Bizzles.
What
yeah,
language was that?
Paris, France. I don't know anymore. My geek fact comes from Godzilla. So Willis O'Brien wanted to do a sequel to King Kong where he fights a creature made by Dr. Frankenstein, and then Toho adopted the idea but changed the monster by Frankenstein to Godzilla. So you got King Kong and Godzilla. But they kept Toho kept the idea of Frankenstein and created Frankenstein Conquers the World, in which there's a kaiju-sized Frankenstein monster, and then there was a sequel to it, War of the Gargantuous, as well, on top of that, where two Frankenstein monsters are there. But surprisingly, Germany, when they released Godzilla movies, they found some way to make all the titles Frankenstein-related. So most of the original Toho Godzilla movies somehow have Frankenstein in the plot.
Wow. Okay, how did you come across this?
So I came across it. I was actually watching some facts on Frankenstein Conquers the World. It was a review. I just came across it because I was looking at kaiju stuff, and I came across that fact. And then I think it was another video someone put up that the Godzilla movies had Frankenstein in the title. So I've actually found a list. So there's there's a movie, Son of Godzilla. In the German translation for it is Frankenstein's monsters hunt Godzilla's son, even though in the whole movie Frankenstein has nothing to do with it.
That's awesome.
Brr must be Godzilla's son.
Okay, awesome. Bonus point there, well deserved. Now, let's move things up a notch as let's react to some of the stuff that either we've seen this week or whatever. Now, first of all, have you heard the rumours? We've spoken a lot about The Flash recently. That, look, James Gunn apparently has taken out a lot of Michael Keaton. Maybe we still know he's in it. We know that Batfleck is still in it. But did you hear the rumours that, taking out Henry Cavill, taking out Gal Gadot, we may have a different cameo added into this film instead? Have you heard this, guys?
This is the first time hearing about it.
Okay, so this is like it's not a spoiler because it's a rumor, but apparently George Clooney's Batman is going to be in it at the end of the film. The Bat nipples are back.
Yeah, Bat nipples.
Isn't that just awesome? That is the fan surf. No, imagine they've got George Clooney's Batman and Schwarzenegger's Mr. Freeze. Nice to meet you.
I'm out for Freeze.
Yeah.
But couldn't they get Val Kilmer? At least that movie was.
Val Kilmer.
Val Kilmer is not in good enough health to do it.
Well, Val Kilmer. This is interesting. I was having a conversation with someone earlier about this. Was in Top Gun Maverick, and one of the things about it is apparently he has lost the ability to talk, but they're using this AI stuff to recreate his voice. Now, have you guys seen this? Because
yes,
I've seen it in the movie.
Yeah, if you've seen Top Gun Maverick, when Val Kilmer's character talks, that isn't actually his voice. And it was the same process they used for recreating Mark Hamill's voice in the Book of Boba Fett. They put it into an AI. Now, I have done this myself. And I have created a voice clip. Do you know what? I'm going to have to find it now. I don't know if you guys will be able to hear it.
Oh, David, we know that you are an android all along.
No, but literally, it's scary how it can do it. I got it to read a section of my book. I was like, well, can I get this thing so that I could do an audio book or something? And there's definitely parts of it where it sounds like me. And
Interesting.
Yeah, you put it. I put in like 10 minutes of my voice.
Gone to Virtual Theatre, read to you by Stephen Fry.
Well, yeah, it's freaky what it can do. I don't know if you'll be able to hear
No,
it.
this is David Postansky coming from London, England.
That is the way I speak.
This is David's dream, to listen to himself talk.
Now, guys, look, I'll attempt to play
having
this.
to do any of the work.
Without having to do it.
Now, do you remember a few weeks ago we spoke about the Power Rangers film that I thought sucked towards the end and everything?
Yeah.
Right. I wrote an article about that for Extreme.tv, and I just grabbed a chunk of that text, and I don't know if you'll be...
Power Rangers,
Did you write it
Hang
on
on.
ChatGPT?
Can you hear
In
it?
2023, Netflix will make everyone cheer Go-Go Power Rangers in a way that fans haven't done so since the 1990s, but time will tell if this will be a return to glory for the long-running franchise. Although many may not be aware of this, the Power Rangers franchise has never really gone away, and
I didn't say a single one of those words, if you could hear it.
It's like you on cocaine because
What?
it's sped up.
It's sped up. But I put in one clip of my voice from one of these shows, from like a podcast that I've done, and it analyzes your voice, and then it steals the ability. It is literally Ursula from Little Mermaid, and then it recreates your voice, and you can get it to say anything you want. Like, the amount of crimes that can be committed with this is just crazy.
I would do it.
Don't need to hire anybody anymore.
I would do it, but we've got too many people doing Foghorn Leghorn already. So,
But no, just out of interest, what is your guys' reaction to something like that? Like, if we're all here, we're like on
don't need
podcasts, we
actors
do
anymore.
improv, we do performing arts. It's like, why do you need voice actors or anything anymore?
it is getting to the point where it's a little scary because you've got the AI art, you've got the making
ChatGPT that writes you an essay
making
or a
people
book.
look young again, matching their voices. Yeah, I think I don't like it anymore.
I think it's
And the whole Chat GPT.
It can
where-
write you a book.
It can write you. Colleges are having to be super careful now, because kids can just put in something and it'll write a paper for them.
Yeah.
know?
And it can beat the tests they've got to know if it's plagiarized at all.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, so like it'll write, because like they've had tools for years to be able to, they can put through like an essay that someone writes for university or something, and they'll be able to tell if it's plagiarized from someone else's, so like the whole Biff Tannen thing of I need time to recopy, whatever. It's like they have had tools for some years where they can just scan. It's like, well, this whole section has just been lifted from somewhere else. But now it will take it, it will analyze what you're saying, it will represent the same information, but it will do it in a way so that it's indistinguishable from an original piece. Tim?
So I think it's interesting because when you look at when the Avengers took the
Ultron.
stones, when they took the stones out and they changed the timeline, you created problems you didn't know existed. Like alternate timelines and stuff like that. With AI, it sounds like we're creating problems that we didn't know existed before. But how do we solve those? And there's some people that think that the easiest way is to regulate it, or to. I think what we need to do is have a serious discussion about where those solutions could exist and what we're willing to change in our society as a result of that. Because there's some people that are implicating that, if you pretend to be someone else's voice, how do you know that it's yours?
Yeah.
And then does that become like misinformation, disinformation? Like, are you trying to influence or threaten? So it really becomes an issue of like, how do we work together as a society to address these problems while also protecting the freedoms of the people that are living? And, if these are sentient beings, how do we also address that? Very interesting stuff. And I don't think there's a quantum realm we can disappear into to solve these problems.
No, I don't. Cap.
Yeah, so I worked with the Catalyst.media.com once, and they was basically focusing on a book that was written by Gordon Moore. No, not Gordon Moore, some other people. What he said. So basically, the book is called "People Get Ready." It's how AI is going to affect you like super fast in this era. And I had to do audio read to that. I would highly recommend you guys check out that book. It's called "People Get Ready." It's basically about how AI is going to change whole society and also economy. So I recommend that. And the thing is that solutions mostly, again, will have to be depending on regulations. Although, so the thing with the whole AI thing is that there's still going to be need. So far, we still need a human hand to actually monitor it. But that's the problem, is that we don't need many people anymore. We just need very few people. So the market's going to close up pretty fast on all sorts of fields. And so, for the interesting thing about the assignment thing is that my cousin, who's still in the software engineering university, they said that you can still figure out how that the ChatGPT is still manipulating someone else's essay, and it can be easily found out, just the same tools, but just a little bit slightly adjusted. But the problem is they're university people, and they don't want their students to use ChatGPT to finish their assignments, so it could be a lie.
Yeah. No, it's becoming super difficult just because it's going to make so many people redundant. Like, first of all, it was like, oh, like, here's this thing, it can create AI art. Now it can be like, it can do articles for you, and it's like, well, it can actually do your face. It can do, it can create your voice now, and it's just like, in terms of the entertainment industry, like we don't like. If I go up for an audition and it's me versus 35-year-old Clint Eastwood, I'd hire Clint Eastwood. So it's like, well, what shot do I have anymore?
Well, but at least we've got the solace knowing that, AI can recreate your voice and other people's voices, but it still can't make MODOK look good.
Well, exactly. That is the weird thing. How did MODOK look so shit when like, this is like the whole Henry Cavill mustache thing a week after it came out, and it was the same when Luke Skywalker was first in The Mandalorian. A week after these things come out, someone just with their computer makes it look better than Hollywood can.
Yep.
So, one thing I'm just going to add is that I did a video about Alice in Wonderland syndrome. Is the real disease that actually is kind of what the author had to write Alice in Wonderland. So basically, I needed to make a cool thumbnail for it. So basically, I kind of typed around in Night Cafe. I think that's what the AI program is called, and it gave me this image. I hate StreamYard. Okay. You can't fully see it.
Oh my god, what is that?
It came up with this image. It's basically like a weird Alice, but it fits the wording that I used to be sure about the Alice in Wonderland, the disease, the syndrome. And it was just perfect. And I was like, wow. I'm not even sure I could have actually had this done with an artist, because it became so good.
That's very intelligent AI artwork, because it also came up with your face on it.
Yeah.
Well, do you know
Well,
what?
the bad
I think I've mentioned this before. A weird thing a few months ago, I told one of these AI art things, and I'm sure they're even more advanced now, to draw Extreme Improv Extremed. And it kind of just drew like a Zoom meeting. And I was like, how does it know this? How does it know? It knows. It's weird. It is literally Skynet. We are going into the next realm of existence, guys.
But it's going out there and it's grabbing stuff that it doesn't have the right to grab too, and that's going to be an issue.
Yeah.
That's why I've avoided using AI art, because it takes other people's artwork without consent.
I saw a thing where they did all the characters from The Office as steampunk Mad Max type characters, and straight up, Steve Carell's face was Alice Cooper's face.
Wow.
I never realized how much they actually kind of look alike, but they swapped out Alice Cooper's face for Steve Carell's.
Alice Cooper and Steve Carell look alike.
Well, go look at this thing.
Hang on a second. Right, this is what we have this for. So, Alice Cooper, Steve Carell.
Well, it might not do that. Maybe do Steve Carell, Mad Max.
Oh, hang on, we're getting something.
Did it come up?
Well, on my, do you know what? Hang on, Marty. Open image in a new tab. I don't. This never opens it large. I wish I knew how to make it bigger on the screen to zoom it. So share screen, window, and share. So let's get this up.
Oh, there we go.
There you go. It's weird. It's not perfect, but there's a lot of it here.
I mean,
it is true.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Look at that one.
Oh my
That is
God.
insane.
Well, no wonder it did that.
Yeah. Wow.
But the thing is that, I think there was a video by legal. I think this legal ramification is kind of hard to put this to AI. Is that you can't actually prove that it's copied. I mean, like even if you can prove the circumstance, there's some legal leeways that they can use to actually make it still usable. And again, you have to change a lot of regulations for this.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Right, so speaking of MODOK, who here now has seen Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania? Okay, well, 3 of us have. Like, so again, if we avoid the major spoilers.
I don't care about spoilers, so you can. For me,
Are there spoilers?
Nothing.
No, that's what I literally found in my head. I was thinking, what is the spoiler? Well, maybe that's the spoiler in itself. There's nothing really to spoil.
Post-credit scenes.
Well, yeah, okay,
yeah,
so Dave,
I
Marty.
don't have to talk about those.
No, Dave, Marty, let it rip. Let's hear some reactions to Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
So I've had a week, so that's why I'm here doing Geek Battle. That's why I went to go watch it. And now I've pondered on it, but I think Kang was unnecessary for the film.
What?
Main villain.
Everyone said that was like the only good part.
Well, no. I mean, don't get me wrong. The actor's good. You know, the character himself is really good. But I think for the film itself, I don't think it was necessary. And I think and this might go off into a whole spiel because I like to hear myself talk sometimes. In that, I think
Touché.
Kang's a bit of a problem. Kang is a bit of a problem because the way like the Infinity Saga had these, they used Thanos sparingly, so that he would be, you know, and we didn't really see, you know, we'll call it the big bad. We didn't see him until like Infinity War and Endgame, but he was here and there.
Yeah.
But with Kang, it's like we've seen him now in 2 major points in this phase. So we've seen him in Loki, and now we've seen him in Ant-Man. I think he should be used more sparingly, so there's more mystery to him. And maybe like in Phase 5, we see it like with Thanos, we see a bit more of him, but then we don't see much of him until we get to like the end game sort of area, where we see a bit more of him. You know, I mean that's just my opinion. Like I don't deny that Kang is MCU character is really good, but I'm just saying I think it would be better if they used him more sparingly than putting him, because now we can't see a project without thinking, right, Kang's going to be in this, you know, he's going to be in season 2 of Loki, he's going to be in the next Captain America film, you know, when is Kang next going to appear?
Yeah. No, okay, Joe, Cap, I'll come to you in just 1 second, but what I just want to very quickly pick up on what you said there. I don't know if I mentioned this last week, but to me there is the sense of with Thanos, they literally had to be in the middle of Infinity War, where Thanos looked at Tony Stark and he was like, Stark! And Tony was like, you know me? And they had to try to conjure up some, like, backstory to them, which didn't exist because they'd never met. At least now, if they get to whatever later film, or if it is Secret Wars or whatever, you know, when Kang shows up, he can spot, you know, Scott Lang or Cassie or whatever, and he can actually be like, oh, we meet again, or that, you know, that gives them something to bounce off of. Was my one thought. Cap.
So, interesting thing about Kang, I saw him in the cartoon, and he was a villain for the Avengers, but the thing is that he was primarily a villain for Tony Stark. So, in the cartoon, he was from the future, and he had technology that far beyond Tony's abilities. And Tony has to figure out a way to outsmart a future scientist / conqueror guy and that was kind of the whole premise in the cartoons. Which I think the only thing, I think even the actor itself actually said that it would be nice if Kang could face Tony Stark. I think he's probably seen some of the cartoons, maybe that's why he's actually hinting towards it. And I think that's much more of an interesting battle between the main baddie and, I mean, so far, like, I would have loved it if there's some sort of genius kind of, had to outsmart a person who's, like, from a different dimension and has, like, different sort of technologies and stuff. I mean, like, with the time keepers and all that. But the thing is that they're going to have a problem, like, making him, in a sense, like an overarching threat to everyone. And also, like David said, is like if Dave said, MC said, is that if they show him more, the problem is that he's going to lose all value.
Yeah.
Because, like, if he appears in every movie as a bad guy, you're going to see him get beat in every movie. Oh, we have more of him in different versions, but still, you're going to lose the value of the character. When Thanos came in, we didn't know how he's going to interact with the other characters. We don't know how that fight was going to be. But this one, you basically can, do your mental math and says, oh, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. And in a sense, it doesn't have that much weight to it because we've seen him so much. It becomes a series villain more than
Okay, out of interest, what do we know that is coming up in Phase 5? Because, like, when we say, oh, he's going to pop up in everything, what movies are coming out? It doesn't feel like he's going to be in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, but he might. I don't even know if they've really shown who the villain is. The trailers have been kind of vague on...
Oh, they have.
Who's the villain?
It's the High Evolutionary.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's the guy... He's played by the actor who was in The Peacemaker.
John Cena.
No, the other guy.
All right. No, I was going to say I didn't see him.
That would have been awesome.
Okay, but like, so what else do we know that's even... What are they filming?
I know they've got, I don't know if it's a series or the film, but they've got New World Order, which will be Captain America.
The Marvels.
Oh, yeah, so Captain America for the Marvels. So, do we think Kang is going to show up versus Captain Marvel versus the new Captain America? Like, how can they have... Like, it was interesting that they'd got Scott Lang, who essentially has no powers, able to have a fist fight with Kang. And so, if they, it was such a big thing for me where they'd got Thanos with the gauntlet and Captain America should have been completely outmatched, but they could go on, oh, he has the heart to fight him. But, like, he was at least a super soldier. It's like, how are they going to make Kang still seem credible, this exact thing you guys are saying about, if he's just going against, like, Bucky or Yelena or whatever in whatever that one is called, Thunderbolts, and they've got no powers?
I think it depends on the Kang. We forget that he's a multiverse character, and the first version of Kang was the guy who was trying to control all the other Kangs because they're a lot worse.
So basically, they're going to do like what they did to Loki, right? There's like one Loki who has Thor's hammer and stuff, and there's like other Loki who's a kid. Basically, they're going to do that.
I mean, that sounds like a different version of a big bad, instead of like this singular character, he's more of a concept that travels through all the multiverse. So it's like, all right, how do you stop a thing like that? Like all the Kangs that are like, oh, well, Kang's messing up this time. What, is it a catastrophe or just a little multiverse tickle that Kang gets into now?
A Kangtastrophe.
A Kangtastrophe, yeah. Like, is it a big one? Is it a small one? What are the ripples? I don't know. I'm just trying to justify the chaotic sort of storytelling that's going on in the MCU right now.
I
But also, like,
I admit when I came out of the film, that thought did cross my mind. In how is if he is going to be in more projects, is like how is each Avenger gonna, or how each character is going to face their version of Kang, and like you're saying, like there's multiple versions of him, so there'll be different states he's in. But I'm still of that mindset of like, but it's like the T-Rex constantly appearing in like Jurassic Park. In the Jurassic World, it's like, right, you put the T-Rex up, but it's lost its value.
It doesn't matter if it's orange now; it's just still a T-Rex.
Yeah. It's just there. It's coming, but just when.
But But
guys.
also, this is the thing, right? You can say like, okay, like I'm a Kang then from different universes. I've beaten the Avengers. Aha! We can bring the Avengers who beat the Kang from another universe. Basically, you can do that too.
Just very quickly before we come next to Marty, I just want to point out that Disney own Marvel. They also own this variant of Kang. So I just want to see that at some point. And like this website over here have come to the idea that is they need to do that. Kang the Conqueror.
There are some models of the same thing being repeated over time, but it's not like a big bad. It's more like, oh my God, they killed Kenny. So it's like you have sometimes maybe that like, oh, what's Kang getting into this time? Except it wouldn't be that.
So we're going to see him be decapitated, run over by cows, shot, exploded, turned into a zombie, chopped in half with a chain.
Who knows?
Oh my God, they killed Kang! You bastards!
What is Kang's rivalry this time? How does he get, how does he...
Everyone now, you can't run me over by a bus, you can't run me over by... Aha, but have you thought about dynamite?
But like, if you watch the show What If, they already did the "Oh my God, you killed Kenny" with Tony Stark. In every episode of What If, they found a different way to kill off Tony Stark. And again, to me, it was like, guys, like this doesn't mean that this makes it so Tony Stark's death was meaningless, And then they were like, look, if you didn't think that we made his death meaningless enough, we're just going to show the table of writers in the end of She-Hulk that we're actually the ones that decided he's dead. And so why not do it with Kang? Just like, have an army of Kangs and just like have like, what was that Arnold Schwarzenegger film where they have the clones? The Sixth Day. Do you remember that?
Day.
Right. And
Yeah.
there's the bad guy who was the bad guy in the movie Ghost as well. And like he's dying and he's made a clone of himself that isn't fully formed. And the clone comes over and he starts taking the clothes off because it doesn't clone the clothes. And the one that's dying is like, "You're not waiting for me to die first." And it's like they should totally do that with Kangs, where he's like, "Give me the helmet" and stuff like that. He's like, "I'm the new Kang Prime."
It's gonna get real old real soon.
So the problem is now that DC, I feel like DC's like, okay, we're just going to take Spider-Man No Way Home and make it The Flash, but Batman-esque.
Yeah.
Like, how is DC going to make a successful movie if they can't copy Marvel's good ones?
Copy Marvel's bad ones.
They can copy the cartoons. Still, I've been saying this. Just copy the cartoons.
Marty?
Okay.
Well, before I start on MODOK, I saw a quote today saying that James Gunn said that the DCU, moving forward, the DCU will be more planned out than the first couple of phases of Marvel. So, meaning that I guess he's just bragging that they'll know where they're headed a little bit more than in the past, but I don't know. Anyway, Ant-Man and the Wasp, it was fine. I don't know if I'll ever watch it again. I feel that way about the last couple, like Doctor Strange, Thor, and Ant-Man. Am I ever going to watch them again? I don't know. First of all, the whole quantum realm is supposed to be a Fantastic Four thing. So I guess I kind of understand why they introduced it, because they didn't know they were going to get the rights to Fantastic Four back, probably. But Kang is primarily a Fantastic Four villain, although he does cross over a lot in other different... I don't know. Kang to me has never been a great villain, because you just don't know what are his motivations other than he's just crazy.
He wants to conquer.
And he wants to conquer. Big whoop, At least, with somebody like Dr. Doom, you know what his motivations are.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I'm going to enjoy this phase with Kang.
But look, isn't conquering enough? Like Neo before Zod, you know, what other motivation do you need? It's like, I want to be in charge of everything.
Well, it's kind of old for Marvel to do that anymore. I mean, like, what's the point of the main? I mean, like, he wants to rule all the multiverse. Okay. I mean,
But like, yeah, what else can they do?
Obviously, the way they'll defeat him is now. I mean, and I've said this on the show before. They've opened all the multiverses. Well, they're going to have to close them, and that's how they'll defeat Kang. Is they'll close all the doors that have been opened.
Yeah, but that is like insane genocide, isn't it? Because it's like killing like the alternative Peter Parkers and everyone.
No, they just close it.
The thing about it is, they're going to make it. They're going to make a big deal out of, like, you know, who's left. Some people that were from other dimensions might get trapped here. People that belong in this dimension might be trapped in another dimension. That kind of thing.
I'd say follow Miss Marvel or the whatever power character has the power to travel between multiverses.
America Chavez.
Oh, Chavez.
Yeah, but the interesting thing about that, there's a YouTuber that's called Overly Sarcastic Production, which kind of talks about tropes and stuff. And basically, they said Multiverse Madness is how you do the wrong kind of multiverse movie. Even though they did all these fan services from different worlds, those different worlds were kind of shown as dummies. In a sense, they had zero weight to it. Oh, look at Charles Xavier, the most powerful mutant. Next step. That's how they go out. They're basically very cheaper versions of characters. They're not like the character that you put your value on. So basically, they're, you know, cannon foders for the main baddie or anything.
How many times have we seen? How many times has Patrick Stewart filmed a death sequence for Charles Xavier now? Is that the third?
Oh yes.
He's been killed 3 times.
Yeah,
now.
three times.
Yeah, 3, I believe.
Yeah, that's insane for the same character.
Nobody in comics ever dies.
Yeah.
They just get like a bandage wrapped around their head and they're fine.
Yeah, but the problem is you can't do that with films. I don't think.
Wrap a bandage around it.
Sure you can. With AI, Patrick Stewart will never die.
Yeah.
There will always be an AI Patrick Stewart out there somewhere.
But the thing is that that's why, like, multiverse in a sense kind of lose the value of narrative. In a sense, like the human version of narrative, where you have everything that you do as a point, but then when there's the multiverse, like everything is as possible. So basically, there's a lot of stuff that can happen, and basically you're very insignificant, and it kind of loses that. And if you use multiverse as characters, like favorite characters, like Mr. Fantastic as cannon fodder so easily, they're going to lose all their values, and probably people are going to lose interest.
Yeah.
You would think that they would have learned their lesson. This happened in the comics, you know. DC had too many alternate worlds going on, and so they had Crisis on Infinite Earths, where they merged everything back down.
Yep.
And so Marvel's going to have to do that with the movies. They're going to have to, like I said, they're going to have to shut off all the multiversal stuff, because when everything is possible, it just gets a little boring.
And
when everything is possible, everything has the same value.
Yeah, there you go.
Especially in storytelling.
Then I could. So
it's the syndrome effect. When everyone's a superhero,
So,
no one's a superhero.
are we saying that if there is definitely a multiverse where MODOK looks good?
No, it'd be like the Scarlet Witch thing. It was that every universe MODOK looks shit except for one.
Guys, Dave, I have found it. Behold.
Have you?
no.
Is that Jimmy Mack? Is that Jimmy Mack?
No, it's the guy from Seinfeld.
MODOK's just mad because he's got a big face.
It just looks like Jimmy. I'm sorry.
I don't know why George Costanza's like popping in Marvel now. They already made a meme about with Hulk.
Yeah. The craziest thing though is like I don't know if I can bring up the original image that it's based on. Look, it literally I don't know what website it's Forbes, and it actually says his I can't speak. His horrifying face goes viral. If it's not going to pop up with adverts, I'll show it to you guys. But then, so we can get a good look at what the actual thing looks like. It's that. And then you have that. And it's it's the exact same thing.
Oh my god.
I don't know if.
Oh my god.
David.
You've got all these bad guys and they go with MODOK.
I don't know if it was the same for you, Marty and David, but when I was in the theatre last week, as soon as MODOK came on the screen, every single person in the theatre I was in burst out laughing. Like, I don't know if I was the loudest, but I was just like, that's really funny. I was like 10 minutes, I was just crying. It was and every time he appeared, even during a dramatic moment, I just burst into laughter.
Yeah. Marty?
I don't care. I mean, fine, they rejiggered his origin and all. I don't care. I don't care. With everything else that's going on, I don't care if he's Darren Cross, but scar him up a little bit. Every time he smiled a lot, and it made him look like he was happy instead of he's like trying to kill him and he's smiling, and I'm like, this is so messed up.
It's also weird that of all of the villains that they brought back, like I couldn't have even told Darren Cross if you say so. It's like I wouldn't have even remembered that as a Marvel villain, and he's the one that comes back, and this is what they do to him. It's like Loki came back, and Thanos was in a few films, and then this.
Did you see that the actor who played Darren Cross is like, yeah, I'd be up for more MODOK. Well, of course you would.
No.
I'm like, of course you would, because you'll get a paycheck. But come on.
Yeah. I don't know.
They should make that movie like a 15. That'll scar people for life.
Yeah. Now,
and then at the end, they defeat him, and then basically they're just like, hey, just don't be a dick.
I feel like we're in that period of like the 70s, like back in the 70s, when some of the movies were just like, this makes no sense. And then it takes another like 5 or 6 years to really get back in focus and like, you know what? Maybe we should focus on storytelling and bringing in original creators.
Look at Cap Screen.
Look at Cap Screen.
oh my god, that's insane.
Meet my son.
Jesus.
Oh man.
You want a piece of me?
Wow. Okay, guys. I do actually have another interesting story that I forgot that we should have picked up on. So I do want to.
Bring it up.
Well, yeah, okay, I will bring it up here. But apparently, Warner Brothers are planning a new lot of Lord of the Rings films. And so
I don't know how to feel about this. I mean, the thing is that they have an opportunity because Rings of Power is so bad that they can we can make it better than that. But again, how better it's going to be.
Well, even in this article that I've got here, if I just bring it up for you guys here, it says a key to the... Now, I don't know who wrote this, so credit to whoever they are. Right, Garth Franklin. So this may just be him speaking here. It says, a key to the new films will be getting Peter Jackson and Fran Walsh and Philippa Boyens on board after the Rings of Power series producers, Amazon, fumbled its courtship with the team, who had no involvement in the TV series. The trio are reportedly at least engaging with Warner's and New Line Cinema for now. So, yeah, get the band back together, basically.
But what stories are they going to do?
There's all the... Look, they definitely still have all of the appendices. Like, when they made the Hobbit films, they were like, this is a tiny book. But they could lean into anything from the appendices of the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
But the
Silmarillion.
Yeah, that one is to Amazon to make TV shows. I don't think...
Apparently not. Okay, so... I don't know this for fact, so
right.
you might know something that I don't. But I heard months ago that apparently that... And maybe I feel like we discussed it on the show, that they'd only got the rights to certain tiny little things.
Yeah. They
so
don't have the full rights.
It says here, once again, let's see what we've got here. Like New Line and Warner's have made a multi-year deal with the rights holders Embracer Group to make several new Lord of the Rings films. And let's see where it says here. Yeah, the whole deal has been sparked by Embracer taking over Middle-earth Enterprises from the Saul Zaentz company last fall and settling a lawsuit over the rights. So imagine if they've got the Silmarillion and stuff like this. And what an opportunity, though, to say, well, look, you gave some of the rights over to Amazon, and it's been really divisive. It's really not been quite in the spirit of the films that people liked. And then, look, I think Christopher Tolkien passed away at some point, and his family, they're going to be like, oh, if this gravy train is going to stink, let's give it to the people who made it a success 20 years ago.
I think Tolkien's son was much more protective of the rights. I think that's why he was very... But I think right now he's also passed away.
I think so. I'll double check this.
Did he pass away?
And the rest of the people don't. I think I've heard this somewhere, I'm not sure how this is true, is that one of them is a very failed writer, and he had no other choice but to make money off the books. But the thing is that it's okay. It's his family, he can do anything he wants. But the thing is that wait, I forgot. Shoot, what I was going to say. Okay, continue on.
Well, it's like in the Rings of Power, they like going off the things that they have and they don't. It's like they hint at. I think, I'm assuming you've seen it, like bits of it, Cabin, that the one who's supposed to be with the pseudo hobbits, the wizard guy, they're hinting that that's supposed to be Gandalf. That can't be correct because Gandalf didn't arrive until after Sauron was defeated the first time. The wizards did not arrive in Middle Earth until after Sauron was defeated the first time. And in the beginning of the series as well, they talk about the Great Tree being destroyed.
Yeah.
But they forgot. but that also leads to the Silmarillion War, and then you've got the Ungoliant as well. You've got the giant spider who was with Morgoth as well. There's so many things that they had to sort of think, all right, here's the trees, it's gone. But that's part of the Silmarillion.
So just to quickly give you the update on this. So Christopher Tolkien, born 1924, died January 2020. Imagine that. He literally just missed COVID. But it says, I don't mean that, but it's like, just imagine not knowing that existed ever. Right.
Well, what if he had COVID and they just didn't know it?
Could be. But then it says here, he's got 3 children, including a son, Simon Tolkien. It says a British novelist and former barrister. He's the grandson of J.R.R. Tolkien. Let's see what his writings are. In January 2000, he began writing fiction.
So he must be the killer guy.
Yeah. His first novel, which was described as a black comedy, was not accepted for publication. His second novel, a courtroom drama, was published in the United States as The Final Witness in 2002 and in the UK as The Stepmother in 2003. So, use the name. Just be like, I'm Tolkien. Just, if I was him now, I'd just be like, I'm going to write the new adventures of Bilbo, the next generation. I'd just do it.
An interesting thing to that, though. So far, one of the things that I've actually seen that's good is the Shadow of Mordor games, which I think, they had some other problems with the games like payroll and everything, but the thing is, the story is actually really good, and it's kind of like the Clone Wars. Basically, they set up the story in a very smaller time window. Again, a lot of the things probably doesn't work out because of the movie and the books and everything, but the problem is, no,
okay, sorry, I was going to say, I'm only on Wikipedia, so who knows if this is reality at all, but this will be very telling about what's going on. It says here, reaction to filmed versions of J.R.R. Tolkien's works. Simon Tolkien disagreed with the policy of his grandfather's estate in regards to the Lord of the Rings films. When Christopher Tolkien issued a statement that Tolkien estate would be best advised to avoid any specific association with the films, Simon Tolkien broke ranks, offered to cooperate with the filmmakers, stating, "It was my view that we take much more positive line with the film and that was overruled by my father. Following up in a 2001 interview with The Independent, Simon in 2003 gave interviews to the Daily Telegraph and other media in which he discussed his strained relationship with his father, describing it as a permanent breach. However, they subsequently reconciled. Now, this may sound positive, but if you haven't read the bottom here, get ready for this. As of 2022, he is a consultant on the Amazon TV series The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power. Ta-da! So if if it's now in his hands, and he gave us The Rings of Power. So his first book was unpublished, and then he was like, "Yeah, just do anything." What about the continuities? Like, I didn't read it. Just do something.
But what you're saying is,
Just cut me a check. Just cut me a check,
Yeah,
please.
just
Whatever-
anything. They're like, "Oh, but the
whatever-
Great Tree, did that affect the Silmarillion War?" He's like, "I don't know." Right. Anyway, Marty.
whatever
Running classes with this
Simon
one.
says.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's like the inevitable thing in history, right? Like your parents build the kingdom, and then the children most likely will ruin it.
Dave.
I mean, look at what Simon did with Morgoth.
The thing about the Amazon show is not just that show is bad. Just about every show I've tried to watch on Amazon, and to be honest with you, other streaming services as well. TV's not very good right now.
Well, you watched Invincible on Amazon, technically,
That's a cartoon. It doesn't
and
count.
also Reacher
That's
is
right,
also
Marty.
pretty
Cartoons don't count.
I think cartoons count.
Well, I think cartoons count because look, Avatar 2 was one. Dave MC.
I got to backtrack a little bit. There's the Lord of the Rings stuff. It's like no adaptation of the films or the books really has ever been completely accurate to it. So like the Rankin Bass movies, like the Rankin Bass Hobbit and the Rankin Bass Return of the King, somehow turned them into a musical.
When was this? Is this the old animated things?
So these are the really like was it Rankin? Yeah, was it Rankin Bass?
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
a Rankin
Rankin
Bass
Bass
version and a Ralph Bakshi version.
That's what I'm thinking of. The Bashki version did. Well, that was supposed to be 2 movies, but the company
first
said,
one was so bad.
yeah, they were like, oh, we're not going to make money out of this, and then you got obviously the Peter Jackson, the Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, and then while they're probably the best adaptations of it, they're not completely honest to the books, but they're still enjoyed more than Rings of Power.
I like the Rankin Bass, the first one, the Hobbit.
Oh, the Hobbit! I laughed. The
Despite
Hobbit was really funny.
The greatest adventure.
But even like the
is
musical
waiting to
on stage,
begin.
even like the musical on stage kind of bombed. Like this
Yeah,
evidently isn't an easy property to do well with. I think they need to give whatever money they own to Peter Jackson and say do something good with it. Like take your time. It doesn't need to be rushed like you did with The Hobbit. Like halfway through filming the first one, they're like, "Hey, can you split this into 2 movies?" And he was like, "Yeah." Tim.
What really struck me when I was reading the books was, and I still remember, is like how they introduced the legacies of characters. Sometimes you see Aragorn's, epigenetic history in how his actions are, and it written like as if like the way he wields his sword, his father wielded it, and the Númenóreans wielded their swords. And I guess, how do you put that onto a movie? Like, how do you create a character where it really tells a story behind their actions? And when I was, I just think like it's in the Peter Jackson very well, like the way the swords and the costumes are detailed.
And also, if you do enough, I think enough of a good job, you probably won't do 100% of a job.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, if you do enough. But like that's the thing that I hate about Rings of Power is that they didn't even do enough or the minimal amount. That's what actually bugged me.
Did you know that the Beatles wanted to film a version of the Lord of the Rings?
What?
Yeah.
No, that's look it up. That is absolutely hilarious.
Okay, let's fact check this.
I think the Rings of Power tried to, but I don't know how they could have done better.
It tried too hard to be the Jackson trilogies. I think it tried to be too epic.
What was it? Was it trying to be the Jackson trilogies, or was it trying to copy the way that? I don't know. I'd have to watch both of them and try, really look it over.
What, The Hobbit?
I didn't watch The Hobbit. I felt like The Hobbit was a money grab.
Well,
one movie.
Go online and find the Tolkien. There's a fan edit of The Hobbit. It's called the Tolkien edit. It is really, really, really good. It takes out everything that shouldn't be there.
When I saw the Goblin mind trip where they're just in the water for 10 minutes, I'm like, this is fan filler fiction. Get them out of there.
They took all that out.
Good.
That fan edit. I have it on deep. A friend of mine burned it to DVD for me.
Yeah.
And instead of watching the original Peter Jackson ones, we watched that. What went wrong with that film was Guillermo del Toro was supposed to work on all of the films with Peter Jackson. And at some point, and I don't think anybody even really knows why, he just bailed and said, nah, I can't do this.
I think it was because it was taking them too long with the rights. He was tied up in... Yeah, it was taking years because they didn't actually have the rights to The Hobbit. That's why when Peter Jackson started, he started with The Lord of the Rings. It's like, why? Because no one had the rights to The Lord of the Rings, because it was like, well, you make The Hobbit, it's the first one. And then he was like, well, we can get the rights to The Lord of the Rings, and that's what he ended up making. So it took them several years to sort out the rights of to The Hobbit to be able to do it. Guillermo bailed halfway through because it's like, we're wasting too many years on this. And so Peter Jackson was like, well, I guess it's going to have to be me. And then after they started filming it, they were like, can this be a trilogy? And whatever money or whatever reason they offered to do it, that's why the pacing of the three films is really weird. And the climax of the first one in particular really wasn't meant to be a cutting off point. And it's just kind of bizarrely done. It feels like it's going into a commercial break, not the end of the movie.
Well, the fan edit takes out all of the elf dwarf romance. It takes out the barrel ride video game segment. It seriously.
What about Legolas? They have to take him out completely.
He's not in the book, so he shouldn't be in the film.
Yeah, I think they
The thing with that, though, is I think they went on the idea that for the timeline, there was there's no reason why Legolas couldn't exist at this time, so he would have been there somewhere.
No, if he was just in the Mirkwood segment, fine. No problem with that. If he's just in there, it's a nice little cameo.
Well,
Legolas is
true.
there. But then he takes up the majority of the third half of the Desolation of Smog, and then he's in the majority of the Battle of the Five Armies. It's like, why are you here? Go away!
Well, because look, here was the other thing, right? When you'd got the Lord of the Rings, it had the Fellowship, and it was a variety of people, and all of the ladies were swooning after Aragorn. And then it's when you pitch it, the elevator pitch, it's well, we're going to have 13 Gimlis. They're like, oh, we need to get Poldark in to be one of the dwarves. And look, we need to bring Orlando Bloom back. We need to bring something. We can't just have the small bearded men everywhere. So they did what they could.
So I would say if you do want to watch any of the Lord of the Rings stuff, I would say play the Shadow of War games. I think they're actually really good. I'm not about the online. I'm not sure about the online stuff because again, I think they did some cheap stuff with the money, play to win sort of things. So instead of that, just play the game's storyline, and I'll tell you, it's a far better Lord of the Rings spin-off than anything that I've actually seen.
I'd like to throw a contrast on that, Cap. Play Shadow of Mordor, but I would say that's its own separate thing. It's not considered continuity of the book. But I would say play Lord of the Rings online because that is more Tolkien accurate. So it's sort of it happens sort of during the Fellowship. So you're your own character and you're doing events not tied to the Fellowship, but you're in while this is all happening.
Speaking of franchises that they're making stories of, I can't wait until they make a Halo series. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. Okay, so right. Just because I haven't quite asked, is there anything else you guys have seen during this last week or anything that we should react to? Has there been any new trailers or any like new shows or anything? Someone seen Cocaine Bear? Is that any good?
Elizabeth Banks saw it. I think she said it was pretty good.
No, I'm waiting for Meth Gator.
Oh my god! I couldn't tell if that was a real poster for something.
No, it's real. It's true.
That is amazing.
They are doing that.
Meth Gator.
What is next? Marijuana Lion?
No, I want heroin kangaroo.
They're running out of ideas. They're running out of ideas. Hey, do you guys want to do a soap skunk with me? Like a soap skunk, yeah.
Let's bring Lane Capet back from.
Yeah, but we'll do something that is entirely like mocking and also repeating the.
I got it. Glue sniffing Bigfoot.
Oh, perfect, perfect. This isn't Elmer's.
Oh my god.
Oh, I wouldn't go up that there trail. It smells like Elmer's.
I don't use Gorilla Glue because my hand has no hair. I know something.
Oh my god. Okay, so but did anyone see anything else to respond to?
I'm watching Star Trek Picard, and I really like it.
Is this which season are you on? The third one.
I'm on the third season now.
And is it good? Is it better than the previous ones?
Season 1 to me was kind of eh. I liked season 2 a lot, and season 3 is shaping up to be really good, at least to me. I'm a Trekkie or a Trekker, so.
Well, you're not obviously that much of a Trekkie if you call it a Trekker. Isn't it a Trekkie?
No, a Trekker.
Oh, Tim, are you needing to bounce?
I have to get going, guys.
Okay.
Sorry
Pleasure
about
as
that.
always, Tim.
In about 5.
Everyone.
A Trekkie is someone who likes Star Trek. A Trekker is someone who climbs mountain paths.
Well, yeah,
No,
that's what I mean.
Trekker is the word that the nerds. They said they didn't want to be called Trekkies. They'd rather be called Trekkers.
We'll call them whatever we damn well please.
That's fine. I really don't care. I just said it as a joke. But
No,
yeah,
it's
I'm
cool.
enjoying. There's only 2 episodes out of the 3rd season so far. But almost everything else that my wife and I have been trying to watch lately, we're either hate watching or just give up on it altogether.
I recommend the Amazon series Reacher, which I think is really good.
My wife won't watch that. I think Last of Us is boring as hell.
Wow. I still need to get back into like watching that. It's just making it so I have the.
I don't know. I just think it's boring.
I'll give you a laugh on the zombie front. So they've started filming the Daryl Dixon series here in Paris.
Oh wow!
And so there's a video of this on like Facebook and YouTube, and that you can find this anywhere. As they were filming in the streets in Paris, there was a woman who was still in her apartment, and she came out while they were filming. So there's on the street, there's all these zombies, overturned cars, there's some fire, and this woman, this normal person, came out of her apartment to be shot with the zombies outside. Like, oh, hello? Oh, what's going on? Oh no! Oh no!
Oh my god!
The one thing that I am looking forward to with that series is how did he get to France?
He's Daryl Dixon.
That's what I want to know. How did he get to France?
He took the Eurotunnel. It's obvious.
He rode his bike.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like they're gonna keep doing not Lord of the Rings. What am I saying? The Walking Dead. I think for 3 more years, and then it's all gonna fizzle out. It's all gonna go away. These spin-offs aren't gonna work for it.
Yeah, it's got to. It's got to go away.
Yeah, it needs to. It needed to go away after season 4, to be honest. Like,
Let it die.
I stuck with it until the end,
well-
but by season 4 they'd done all of the stories, and then they were just the same story over and over again.
Getting rid of
Sorry, Marty.
getting rid of what's his name? I can't.
Rick.
Shoot, the guy that directed Shawshank Redemption, the one that started.
Darabont.
Yeah,
Frank
they,
Darabont.
getting rid of Darabont was a bad move.
Yeah. Well, he was the one that put it together as the show that it was, and
Yeah. And then and because of that experience, I don't think he's done anything since. I think he's just so pissed off at Hollywood that he retired, which
Yeah.
is a shame because he's made some really good stuff.
Well, didn't he, Frank Darabont? That's it. Didn't, as well as the Shawshank Redemption, didn't he also direct The Green Mile?
Yes.
So
And
if Stephen King writes another book set in prison,
Maybe.
yeah,
Red Kilometer.
Maybe.
The Red
He did The
Kilometer, I
Mist
like.
too. I like The Mist. Some people don't, but I like The Mist.
Well, did he direct the movie of The Mist?
Yeah, the movie. I heard the show was terrible.
I thought the show was
There are a lot
terrible.
of
I
the same
did really
actors
like
in-
the movie.
Yeah.
Yes, there are a lot of the same actors from the film that were in The Walking Dead.
Doesn't surprise me.
True.
Doesn't
That's
surprise me.
because he liked working with them, and Frank Darabont's kind of that way.
Okay, guys, let's quickly move on to something fun and silly at the end. So let's.
I'm going to let this be my exit then, because I got to leave in 5 anyway.
Well, if you got to leave in 5, you can go first if you want. It's up to you.
All right, make it quick.
Okay, right. What would you like to guess? A movie, a character, TV show? What would you like to guess?
Movie.
Okay, right. I've got one. So let's have a look. Okay, Marty, you're going to have 1 minute to ask me as many yes/no questions as you can to try to figure out this movie. And here you go.
Recent movie?
Relatively?
2010s?
Yes.
Okay. Is it sci-fi?
Yes.
Does it involve aliens?
Yes.
Does it involve space travel?
Yeah.
Is it part of a franchise?
Yes.
Is it a Star Wars movie?
No.
Is it a Star Trek movie?
No.
What other space movies in a franchise matter? Gosh, what else do I have? Is the main protagonist or the main person a male or female?
Yes.
Oh, sorry, I thought it was yes. See, is it male?
Male, yes.
Superhuman at all?
Yes. And that is time, I'm afraid. Handing things over to Dave. Go.
Oh Christ. Is it part of the Marvel universe?
Yes.
Oh, is it Guardians of the Galaxy?
No.
Oh. Space movie thingy. Oh. Okay.
I thought it was Men in Black. But
Just
no.
name MCU movies.
Okay, I'll just go for that. Is it Iron Man?
No.
Is it
2010s.
part of a franchise though?
Yes.
Is it part of the Guardians of the Galaxy universe?
Yes.
Is it Guardians of the Galaxy 2?
Yes, it is. There you go. Okay, well done. Okay.
All right.
With that, Marty, we can release you.
Yep. See y'all later.
Ciao for
See
now,
you, Marty.
Marty. Right. On that note, let's come over to Cap next. What would you like to guess?
TV show.
TV show. Okay. And let's see what we've got. I'm going to use the Extreme Improv suggestion cards to get this. Just because it feels like I should. Right, okay.
How
TV
old
show.
are these dots?
Right, okay, good. TV show. You're not going to know that one. Okay, I've got a good one. Okay, and your time starts now.
Is it animation?
No.
That is not a good one. Did it come out in the 2000s?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Is it fantasy?
No.
Is it sci-fi?
No.
Is it superheroes?
No.
Is it drama?
Kind of, yeah.
Kind of.
Not just drama. That's not the first thing you'd call it.
Is it comedy drama?
No.
No. Is it horror?
Yeah, closer. Still not quite pinpointing it, but closer.
Oh, okay. Does it have a monster in it?
No.
Like a real monster? Does it have a serial killer in it?
Yes.
Is it Hannibal?
No.
Is it something like Hannibal?
Yeah.
Is it Dexter?
Yes, it is! With 3 seconds to go, Cap. Well done. Nailed it. Excellent stuff.
It all depends on David reminding me about Dexter.
Okay, on that note, Dave MC, you haven't started one. So basically, this might come down to, you've both got 2 points on the scoreboard. Realistically, Dave, if you guess this correct, you will be today's winner. If you fail
But
to...
what about you?
Well, look, I haven't got any points. We need to do... Look, we've done a lot of talking shows recently, and they're cool. But we need to play a few more games so I stand a chance. We'll do some impressions, like next week or something. Okay, but if Dave fails to get this, Cap, you could steal it by getting it. But if neither of you get it, then we'll say it's a tie. So, Dave, what would you like?
Or you win.
No, I don't win. Right, I can't win. I've got 0 points. You've got 2
We'll
each.
make an exception, like 5
I don't
points.
want to win. Right, I thank you. Right, okay. Dave, what would you like to guess?
I will also go for a movie, please.
Okay. Let's see. And here you go.
Is it a recent movie?
Relatively-ish.
Is it 2010?
About then. Specifically about then.
Specifically about 2010?
Give or take a year, just because I'm not sure which decade.
Okay. Is it part of a franchise?
No.
No. Tough question. Did this movie make a lot of money?
I think so, yeah.
Is it part of a big company?
Probably.
Was it made by a big production
I
company?
assume so, yeah. I'm fairly sure it was, yeah.
What? Now try now. Was it Disney?
No.
Is it? It's not going to be. Well, that's the only one really. Is it a Fox movie?
I don't know. It's not owned by Disney now.
It's not owned by Disney at all.
No.
Is the main character a male?
Yes, but that is time, I'm afraid.
Okay.
Cap, handing over to you. It's your opportunity to steal it. Go.
Is it a Warner Bros. Movie?
I think it is. I might be wrong, but I think it is.
Is it fantasy?
No, it's not fantasy.
Is it sci-fi?
Yes.
Oh, it's sci-fi. It came out Is it Prometheus?
It's not Prometheus. Good guess, though.
But is it on the Alien universe?
No, it's not from the Alien universe.
It's not from the Aliens. Is this
It's not
horror?
from part of a franchise, mate. It's a one-off.
Oh, it's a one-off movie.
Yeah.
It's one-off movie, not a part of a franchise. It's sci-fi, right?
Yeah.
It's sci-fi. Shoot. Now I'm on pressure. It came out in 2009?
About then, I couldn't swear what year. 2009, 2010?
Does it take place in space?
No.
Oh, so it takes place on Earth.
Yes.
Does it have an alien visiting us?
No, it doesn't.
Does it feature any aliens at all?
No, it doesn't. That is time. Now, I will give you 1 more minute for both of you, someone to try to steal it. Go.
Are we both going? Or
Yes,
is it
you
just
are.
like-
You're both going.
Oh, we're both going. Okay. Right. Is there a horror element to it?
Not really.
Okay.
Is there a comedy element to it?
Not especially.
Sci-fi. World's End.
No.
2012.
No.
Is it The Martian?
It's not The Martian.
Oh no.
Is it Interstellar?
It's not Interstellar.
Is it a Christopher Nolan
Yes,
film?
it is.
Oh,
Oh.
is it oh god, what is that film called?
It takes place on Earth, right?
It takes place on Earth.
Oh
no.
crikey.
I know it. I know
And
it.
that is time. That is time.
It is Inception.
Do you know what, Cap? That is just out of time, but I think it's only fair to give it to you. So, Cap,
It's
I'm going to
Inception,
say
right?
so
It's
it
Inception.
was Inception. Yeah,
We both had this. Like, you just got it first, Cap. Well done.
yeah.
Although
I'll give it to
I
Cap
had-
because he said the Christopher Nolan thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so well done. Very close on that. So Cap, I will say you are this week's Geek of the Week. So congratulations. But with that, let's begin to wrap things up. Let's find out where you can find you guys, and if there's anything that is your recommendation for people to check out in the coming week, let us know and where they can find you. Dave.
Well, I haven't got my background with me, so you can find me here on Geek Battle. You can check me out on the next show, The Extreme Show, and check me out on Thursdays for Extremed. Check out my YouTube channel, Dave MC, as written below. Dave MC. I upload gaming videos every Saturday, 10 a.m. for me local time, but they go up every Saturday to Star Wars videos. And my recommendation would be DC Comics' Tales from the Dark Multiverse, Batman the Silenced, where Batman is committed to Arkham Asylum and he goes on a killing rampage.
Wow, awesome. My name is David Pistansky. Find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at David Pistansky. So make sure you smash the subscribe to the Geek Battle YouTube channel. And also check out the Geek Battle Gaming YouTube channel. I'm going to have a cool video coming up within the next couple of days, hopefully, where I have repaired one of these. This is a Tiger Gamecom. And it didn't work, but you'll have to see on the video if I got it working again. Because believe it or not, I did. Right, so, who haven't I come to? Cap or Fave, where can the people find you?
You can find me here on numerous shows. You can also find me on SWAT Days, where I sing, I dance, I throw myself in a bucket, and I work with puppets. And recently, I made a movie about the Breakfast Club after David suggesting that the 80s had the best movies. I went around and checked out the Breakfast Club, and I really did like it. And I made an interesting case where how Sri Lanka is actually the basket case. The country itself is the basket case from the Breakfast Club. So check that video out, and I'll be making a video about David Santos and Tony Stark on SWAT Deeds. Also, my recommendation is that I've been watching a live-action series called, not a live-action, just a normal series called Leverage, which came out in 2008, I believe. It's about conmen / thieves doing, busting and stealing stuff, and it's really interesting. And I didn't want to check out Money Heist, so I checked out this, and I find this really interesting. So go check that out.
Okay, well, until next time, stay safe. Always